It's Sunday night, 9 o'clock. Welcome to All Lacrosse Live, coming to you from the corner of Walk and Don't Walk. Always fun, guys. I am Gary Groob here in Toronto, and with me, of course, I have Shawn Slaght over in Moose Jaw. How are you, Shawn?
Doing pretty good, thanks, Gary.
And I have Muffler Mike over in Connecticut. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
We're off to a rolling start, aren't we, guys? What a great week, man. We had a lot of stuff. There's a lot of recaps out there. And we had a lot of games in all the leagues. Everybody's been really, really busy keeping you up to date. But, of course, before we get rolling, why don't we get rolling? Got to get the ball rolling, man. I missed that. But just before we get going with everything, and there's a lot of news to get on to, just a reminder to everybody that all the shows are streamed live across Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and also Twitch. And you can catch all the action on EOPsports.com. Remember to hit the subscribe, follow, and like buttons. Always share. Enjoy all of our affiliates. Mine, of course, favorite is Steel Steps on Friday nights. But there's a bunch of stuff. The Attack and Third is pretty cool. Fly Like an Eagle podcast is really great. Birds of the Round Table. Chalk Talk, all these things are really great. So you want to take a look at it. We got shows every day for everybody. If you've missed a show, no worries. You can grab all the podcasts on all the major podcasting companies, which include iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and so much more. You can also go to the EOP YouTube page to catch any of these shows. As well, if you're looking for our stuff in particular, please go to the All Lacrosse All the Time YouTube page. And you can catch everything from retro games, interviews, library of shows, and so on. Remember, you can stay up to date with all sports by visiting EOPsports.com with great articles from our huge staff and contributors. And while you're there, please subscribe to our newsletter. And may I just say, happy Father's Day to all the fathers and acting fathers out there from all of us here at All Across All the Time. I know I had a great Father's Day. Mike, I hope you had a great one as well.
I did.
Excellent. I'm hoping everybody out there had one too. A few little things of note. One, it shows you it's coming soon, guys. We are actually under 100 days until Utica 2024. That's happy and sad. One, I want to be there. And two, it's sad because that means summer's over. Yeah. But before we get to the end of summer, reminder that in just a couple of weeks now, July 6th at the Rock Athletics Center, the Junior A game, it's the McDougall Memorial, and it's third annual. The Junior A game at 3 p.m., the Celebrity game at 6 p.m., which you don't want to miss. Silent auction, 4 to 10 p.m. Great stuff there. Lots of NLL stuff, lots of other stuff in there. Really, really cool stuff to bid on and grab. Beer garden and live music. Might even be able to find an old turf monster in there or something. Be a rock just a couple of weeks after that, we head on over to Philadelphia for Fan Cup 2024. Yours truly will be playing in that tournament as well. Remember, win or lose, we drink the booze. It will be in New Jersey. We will be staying in Cherry Hill. So if you're looking for us, that's as close as you're going to get. But take a look at the Fan Cup page or the Fan Cup website 2024, and all the details are there. If you're interested in joining, by all means as well, we'd like to take your money too. But great time, lots of fun, great people, and a great way to get all the communities together and have a lot of fun with something we all enjoy. The Gales have a picnic on the 27th of July from 1 till 4. Join them at the Tyrone Community Center, which is 2716 Concession Road in Tyrone, Ontario, which is near Clarington. All kinds of fun things to do. Mike's favorite, of course, is the jumping castles. So, don't disappoint Mike. Show off.
Bouncy, bouncy.
Bouncy castles. Even if you don't come back up. It's always fun to go bounce. But Lacrossing Barriers has got their camp coming up, and that's just around the corner now. It's only a couple of weeks away. All Abilities and All Possibilities Day Camp designed to allow anyone who chooses to learn, laugh, and play. The camps are designed to guide everyone who comes to participate in the way they need. Ages 5 and up, 9 till 3 with options for early drop-off and late pickups. The weeks are July 2nd to 5th, August 6th to 9th, August 26th to 30th. Email Scott. This one is in Calgary. I know they have other things going on across Canada. So email Scott at lacrossingbarriers.org, and he will get you all the information you need, and you should be up to date with that. Now, interestingly enough, Brooklyn has been lighting it up in MSL. They've been lighting up in OSL. And, of course, the thing that comes to mind, since they are one of the places that don't have turf, well, question for the town of Whitby. We have the players. We have the venue. We honor the Indigenous and national sport of lacrosse. We are nonprofit, small business, community-driven, and are striving to create a weekly family event that is cost-effective. So why can't we have turf like all the cool kids? Just a thought for the town of Whitby. Because think about this. If they do happen to make it to the Mann Cup, wouldn't it look great to have a nice thing of turf down there for the TV broadcasts? Rather than just cement floor, let alone probably save a number of players' knees and a few other things along the way. Just a thought, guys, just a thought. Most other places have gotten it already. I believe there's deals. Maybe we'll roll out some GoFundMe page. Something for Whitby. Just a thought. The Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame had their 2024 inductions. And just to name the people, in the Builders Guide, we had Alan Diabo. We had John Fusco. JT, John Tavares, is inducted into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Marianne McIntyre. Frank Lawrence, great chief of officials and great official over the years. And, of course, Foxy, Bill Fox. What a great class. All very, very deserving and a long time in coming. So really great to see those guys into the Ontario Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Here's an interesting stat for you guys. Now, we know how great Matt Vince has been with the Bandits and with the Nighthawks and, through his career. But just when you put these things side by side, the man is aging fine like wine. Unlike the rest of us that are slowing down, he's actually speeding up. If you look at him in 2007 through 2010, he had a 50% save percentage, 11.35 goals against average, 77% saves. We move over to the Nighthawks, and it's a 10.70 save percentage, 78.5% save percentage. Now we head over to the Bandits, and a 10.54 goals against average, and an 80% save ratio. The man is 80 like fine wine.
Vino.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you can't really say, well, you got better defense. They won 3 championships in Rochester, guys. And he's doing better in Buffalo. Figure that out. In his 40s. Gee, first ballot Hall of Famer? Might as well just put him in now.
Might as well, yeah.
All righty. Let's head on over to some of the games. Why don't we start over with the West again and the juniors over there, Shawn?
Yeah.
And let's see how everybody's doing and how we're faring.
Yeah, you bet. We'll start out with BC Junior A. We'll head out to Tuesday night. The New Westminster Salmon Bellies picked up a 13-7 win over Langley Thunder. Nanaimo, the close game, last-minute goal, 7-6 win over Victoria. On Wednesday night, they had one game. Delta beat Burnaby 13-10. Then Friday, we saw Coquitlam continue their outstanding season so far, 8-4 win over Port Coquitlam. And on Saturday, New Westminster picked up another win, 10-6 over Nanaimo. Delta were winners over Langley, 12-6. Then just this afternoon, we had Nanaimo trying to keep pace with Coquitlam for first place there with a 15-10 win, and Port Coquitlam bounced back with a 9-6 win over Victoria. So coming up this week, we got Delta and Victoria and Burnaby and Coquitlam on Wednesday night. Langley Thunder, New Westminster Salmon Bellies on Thursday. Friday, we got Coquitlam and Burnaby and Port Coquitlam and Langley. Saturday, Victoria against Burnaby and Delta against New West. Then we finish off the week on Sunday with New West against Victoria and Coquitlam against Nanaimo. So quickly trying to look through the standings here. We got, again, Coquitlam Madnax just kind of running away with it a bit. They're 9-1 after 10 games. Second place, you got the Nanaimo Timbermen at 9-3. Port Coquitlam Saints at 7-4. Burnaby Lakers are at the 500 mark at 5-5. New West Salmon Bellies 5-6. Delta Islanders at 4-5. The Victoria Shamrocks at 4-8. Then Langley at 0-11. Then we go over to the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League in Alberta. Wednesday night, we had the Edmonton Raiders, the Okotoks Raiders were 5-3 winners over the Calgary Mounties in a low-scoring affair. Saturday night, we had the Raiders won again. Actually, a big win over the Edmonton Miners, 7-3. As well, the Mounties were 8-3 winners over the SWAT. And then this afternoon, we have one final score. The Edmonton Miners were 12-11 winners over the Mounties. And don't have his final score yet, but last score I had, it was 13-2, the Raiders over the SWAT. So those standings looking like the Edmonton Miners, 9-2. Again, we saw what they did at the Minto Cup last year, and it looks like they're not slowing down. Mounties, again, they usually are perennial strong teams. They're at 6-5. Raiders at 5-4, and then the Saskatchewan SWAT at 0-9.
Well, let's head on over to Ontario for the OJLL. And some interesting stuff this week here. Peterborough beat Kitchener on Monday 8-6. Whitby beat Mimico. This is a new thing. Mimico losing 9-3. Brampton beating Six Nations 15-7. Six Nations losing again the next day. Orangeville 10-7. Toronto Beaches keeping their winning ways going, just squeaking by Oakville 9-8. Burlington beat Peterborough 13-8 on Wednesday. Whitby beat St. Catharines 9-8. Moving forward, the Beaches again beat Kitchener 12-7. Brampton just barely got by Kitchener 12-11 in a barn burner. Orangeville beat the Oakville Buzz 13-6. And Mimico dropped another one this week on Friday to Peterborough 12-8. Now, they were undefeated before the week started. Right? They did come up ahead of Burlington 14-8 on Saturday. And St. Catharines beat Six Nations 7-6. Looking at the standings, we have the Beaches that are still undefeated at 11-0. Mimico has dropped back down to earth at 7-3. Orangeville tied with them at 7-3. Whitby 6-4. Brampton 6-5. Peterborough is making a comeback at 4-5. Six Nation Arrows 4-8. Burlington 3-6. Kitchener 3-7. Oakville 3-6. And St. Catharines has a couple of wins under the belt now at 2-9. Moving on over to the Ontario Series Lacrosse. We had a few games this week. We'll start off on Saturday, where we had the Hamilton Bengals and the Ennismore James gang tie 7-7. That was big because that was the first point that Ennismore got this year. They've come awful close, but now they actually have a point in their column. Moving to Saturday, continuing Saturday, the Brooklyn Merchants got by the Clearview Crushers 9-8. Another one of those games, just like it was a couple of weeks ago, where it's just an absolute slobber knocker. Clearview is a really good team, just underrated, and Brooklyn was able to get by them. Today, the Hamilton Bengals beat the Owen Sound North Stars 12-4, and Ennismore almost upset the Six Nations Rivermen. It was 9-7 for the Rivermen. Ennismore was up 6-5 after 2, but a strong third period. Sam Leclerc with a couple in that period. And they shut down Ennismore altogether. And they come away with a 9-7 victory. With the Can-Am stuff, more Senior B. We have Allegheny in first with 6-1 record. Onondaga Redhawks 4-3. Grand River Warriors 3-2. Tonawanda Braves 3-2. The Newton Golden Eagles 2-4, and the Tuscarora Tomahawks in the bottom at 0-5. And that covers Senior B for this week. Why don't we go over to the West Coast and for some WLA action? Actually, just before we go there, just a reminder that part of the show is brought to you by Dolan's.
When you're staying local and you want to watch a great game or just hang out with some great people, go to Dolan's Bar at 24 East Sellers Ave in Ridley Park, right off I-95 south of the Philadelphia airport. For over 65 years, Dolan's has thrived because of one reason: the amazing people of Philadelphia. Great music, great times, memorabilia, giveaways, great drinks, and great food. You never know when a former Philly sports icon walks through that door. You go to Dolan's at 24 East Sellers Ave, Ridley Park in the 19078. Tell PJ that EOP sent you. Go to dolansbar.com or follow them on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok.
Sumi Dog's there. Go get them. I'm visiting them this
Having a drink.
Thanks a lot, Brian. We appreciate it. Happy Father's Day. Alrighty. So why don't we head on over to the WLA and let's see where we're at, guys.
Yeah, I think we have the Wednesday night game, Mike.
Yeah. Did we have the Sunday night? Did we cover the Sunday night game
We
before
did not
that?
cover the Sunday night
We did
game.
not Sunday night
No,
game.
that's
Okay. Okay.
Bit of an upset. The Berards taking out the Salmon Bellies 13-12. That's their first loss of the season.
How are my Shamrocks doing?
That's here. Oh,
Yeah, we'll
give it
get
a
to
rest.
that.
Hey, I listened to this fictitious rebuild last year, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
And of course on
Did you have that game, Mike, or was that my game on Sunday night?
I'm not sure, but I have the box score up here. The Berards actually led after two. They led 9-8 after the Salmon Bellies had a 6-5 lead after one. First star of the game was Dylan McIntosh, had a hat trick and an assist for Maple Ridge. Logan Schuss, second star, 3 goals, 3 assists for New Westminster. And Ryan Jones got third star for Maple Ridge, goal and 5 assists.
It's funny enough, the Berards tried to hand this back. They stopped playing before the game was over.
Yeah, I was going to say Tyson Gibson kind of with a couple goals late with the extra attacker and made it interesting at least.
Well, yeah, very interesting. But I just ran out of time. I'm curious if they had another couple of minutes if we were talking about, Sam Billy's actually come away with yet another win. But, lucky for them, it only was 60 minutes long.
Yeah, so that's going to be their first loss on the year. They're now 4-1. So, like you said, Victoria at 6-0 is the only undefeated team left in WLA. So,
still a great time to be in this household. Notice the team jersey behind me. We'll get to that soon.
But yeah, moving on to Wednesday. Coquitlam adding to Langley's woes here. 11-5, the Adnax win. A star here, and really kind of been the star for them all season. Andrew Gallant in net, 41 saves, only 5 goals allowed. Adam Noakes, Thomas Semple, Jordan Roberts, each with a pair of goals. Clark Walter had goal and 3 assists for Coquitlam. For Langley, unfortunately, not much to speak of. Tristan Kirkham, 2 goals and an assist. Robert Church, a goal and 4 assists. Nathan Lamb, goal and an assist, and Aiden Walsh 41 saves. And I gotta ask, we talked at the end of the NLL season, regular season anyway, about all the improvements we saw with the Vancouver Warriors, particularly Aiden Walsh in net, and now he's minding the net for a Langley team that is fast going downhill.
Rebuilding.
Yeah, they're more of rebuilt than Victoria by far. Again, I know it's offensive side of the ball, but again, no Dane Dobie, no Curtis Dixon. Church has been kind of on and off the lineup. The defenders, I mean, there's not very many big names back there to help them out.
Yeah, you just got to wonder what this might do, maybe for confidence or just continuity.
I think just playing time is good enough for him right now, just to keep sharp.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when the team only scores 5 goals in front of you? You're not winning many games, right?
True.
So yeah. I really don't think that that's going to be a big factor in derailing him. I'm more concerned about the team finding some scoring somewhere, because I hate seeing a team being a pop can on the street being kicked around by the league. Because, Langley has been so good for so long now that to watch him just rocket to the bottom, you don't really want to call guys out, but the Scanlons, I think you're looking for more out of guys like Chase and those guys. Church, I mean, like I said, he's been on and off the lineup. He hasn't had the greatest of games. I mean, 4 assists, not a bad night necessarily, but you usually see more out of him. But otherwise, it's also given some guys a little platform, maybe, to get looked at coming on as free agents to the NLL or something like that. So let's just see where it takes them.
Other side of the coin, we got
to find it half full instead of half empty. And I feel sorry for the people in Langley that the team isn't doing well, but the last couple of years they really have had some fantastic teams. So this happens to everybody. Trust me, Victoria last year.
So they fall. They fall to 1-5 on the year. So last place in the league right now. But hopefully they can find a way to turn it around and stay competitive through the next 2/3 of the season.
Right. So we move over to the next day, the Friday. And we have the Shamrocks hosting the Burrards. Interesting first face-off there, guys, where you had the King brothers and King Dad. I loved his jersey. 319. But what a great way to start celebrating the Father's Day weekend by having your dad out there with the initial face-off ceremonial. But Shamrocks come away again with a big win of 10-5 and look very healthy.
Yeah, I mean 10-5, only undefeated team now, and I mean when Shamrocks jump out to a 4-0 lead right off the bat, and with the firepower they got, it's pretty tough to come back from that. Again, Cam Dunkerley got the start, and I mean they've got a 1-2 punch goal.
Getting excited about this now.
Yeah, he looked pretty good with 43 saves. Shamrock's offense had 62 shots on goal, so I mean, the Birds didn't hold much of a chance, really. With all due respect, I mean, Brandon Humphrey. I mean, he's had a decent year, but when you're stopping 65 of 62 shots, you still have to give him props, in the loss.
Mm-hmm.
But even for the Shamrocks, I mean, again, Jesse King, 2 goals, 6 assists. Tom Vason, a goal and 3 assists, a couple of goals from Marshall King. I mean, especially those King brothers. I mean, they're just killing it.
Yeah, and when you're down 5-1 and you're already almost halfway through the second period, really the writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's an uphill climb against a really good team. And it looks like they ran out of gas in the third period too, because the Shamrocks just took it to them entirely. There wasn't a Burrard sighting in the third period.
Like I said, I do give Humphrey credit. I mean, he faced a lot of rubber. He gave up only 10 goals and faced that many shots, but boy, when your offense is only giving you 5, they're not helping you out much.
Yeah, no, that's the same problem as Langley, isn't it? If it doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're only getting 5 goals, you're not expecting to win many games.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just or on the flip side, just facing a goalie facing a lot of rubber, and your biggest example is Christian Del Bianco. Why is he not playing with Coquitlam? Because the last few years he was there, he was just getting peppered with shots constantly. Like 50, 60 shots every game.
Yeah, I mean those years. I mean Christian was single-handedly winning games for.
Yeah, we mentioned that week in and week out. It's a Bianco show of him just literally, facing 65 to 70 shots. And where was the defense? Well, where's your goalie now? See ya.
Yeah.
Oh my. All right, the Sam Bellies come back against the Lakers with a vengeance, making up for their loss earlier in the week, beating on them 15-5.
Yeah, they led 6-1 after 1 and 11-3 after 2. I mean, this game was pretty much out of hand almost right from the start. Another big performance in net from Neil Tyak, 50 saves and only 5 goals allowed. Tyson Gibson, 3 goals, 5 assists. Ryan Martell, 4 and 2. Adam Dixon had 2 and 3. Will Malcolm, pair of goals, and Jake Govett, a goal and 2 assists. For Burnaby, again, like Langley, not much to speak of. Ben McDonald, 2 and 1. Jacob Dunbar, 2 and 1. Thomas Vela, 1 and 1. And
that's good.
Yeah,
for the San Diego Seals.
Yeah, how quickly things change there in Burnaby. They were looking pretty good when they were 3 and 1, and now they've fallen back to 500. And the win clinches the season series for New West against Burnaby with a game to play.
Right. We had one game last night, and that was the Adnax going into the Timberman barn, and this was a hell of a game.
Oh, this was a barn burner. Coquitlam comes away with a 10-9 overtime victory, and it was a wild game. I mean, after the first period, it was 4-0 for the Adnax, and Nanaimo just kind of kept chipping away. It wasn't like they went on any major runs. Just maybe a couple goals here, another goal there, a couple goals here, and right kind of at the end, down by 3. Colton Lindstone scores with about halfway through the third. Tiger Clark on the power play, 1 goal game. Then about 2 minutes left, Zach Mans, unassisted, ties it up. Then at 7:26 in overtime, Riley Isaacs scored his hat-trick goal for the winner. But yeah, again, for the Adnax, Tyler Kirkby, hat-trick and 3 assists. Goal and 4 assists for Adam Noakes. Like I said, the hat-trick for Riley Isaacs. Again, Andrew Gallant. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's making a name for himself.
Yeah.
45 saves in the victory, faced 54 shots. Had a heck of a game. My more question is what's going on with Nanaimo?
I was waiting for that.
Yeah,
this is our 2024. What's wrong with Nanaimo?
I mean, they've been competitors at least the past 2 years, and now they've just kind of fallen off the map. They've got 1 win, and just looking at just the stats, for instance, for this game, you have Zach Mans with 3 goals and 3 assists, and then it just kind of drops off from there. I think he needs just a little bit more help.
Just a wee bit.
And Devin Shanahan was in goal too. I mean, he's been in goal the last couple games, and now you're kind of clenching your teeth, thinking, what's going on? Is he or maybe counting our eggs before they hatch with Devin?
Right. And we got one game going on, basically when we get off the air, and that is Langley heading over to Maple Ridge for a slobber knocker over there.
Yeah, and just to note, I mean, Nanaimo's 1-4, but 3 of those losses are to Coquitlam. So, I mean, they've lost. They got swept in the regular season series with Coquitlam. So, it's. I guess stay tuned, because maybe the answer to that question, what's wrong with Nanaimo, is they had to play Coquitlam 3 times.
Yeah, maybe.
So,
Right. Yeah, looking at their standings, they're 6-0 for the Shamrocks, 4-1 for the Salmon Bellies, Adnex, 4-4, 3-3 for the Lakers, Burrard's 2-4, Timberman 1-4, and the Thunder, they're in the basement.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, you're talking about Nanaimo. I'm just looking at goal differential there. I mean, it's not great, but it's showing that you're on a 3-game losing streak, but you're only down a few goals there, so you're losing close games. Just finding that hump now.
Right.
And get that offense, because, I mean, I think that said 38 goals over 5 games.
Yeah.
4. That's
38 goals, 4, yeah.
Right.
You know? That's not even 8 goals a game average. Yeah. So.
Right. All right, just before we get over to the MSL, reminder, this part of our show is brought to you by Sherry's Tickets.
Great moments don't just happen, they happen with you in the crowd. Sherry'sTickets.com is easy to use and has no hidden fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Pay less, play more with Sherry'sTickets.com and get the tickets you want. Save even more by using the exclusive promo code EOP10 and share an experience that will live on. Don't pay hidden fees and save 10%. Why use any other ticket reseller and get those hard-to-come-by tickets to the big game? If you need a more personal touch, give them a call at 610-494-5050. Sherry'sTickets.com also has great theater and concert tickets that are hard to get your hands on. Remember, don't overpay with the rest and save with the best at Sherry'sTickets.com. For that next great moment, save 10% by using the promo code EOP10. Great moments start at Sherry'sTickets.com.
Yes, they do. Now we're heading on over to the MSL, and we had a couple of interesting games along the way here. We start off with Oakville on Monday night, and the Owen Sound North Stars came into town. They haven't had a win yet. They have been kicked around pretty good so far. And the Rock, of course, have had a couple of great ones, including the week earlier when they beat Peterborough, coming from behind. This one looked like Oakville was going to run away with this thing. The first period, they got up 10-3. Andrew Q, Marley Angus got on the board first. Camaccioni, he got one back. Q again. It looked like Owen Sound was going to give him a game, because Steve Portelli and Will Cecil scored to tie this thing up, and all of a sudden, boom, here came the onslaught. Sam English, Dalton Solver, Andrew Q again, Josh Dalwick, Marley Angus again, Ryan Lansbury, and Josh Dalwick another, and it was 10-3 after 1. We head into the second, and whatever was said in the Owen Sound dressing room, well, it got some fire lit under their butts, because 4 of the next 5 goals were Owen Sound goals. So all of a sudden it was like, wow, we're back into a game here. But again, Josh Dalwick answered that. Tanner Buck scored for Owen Sound. A couple more from Sam English, both on the power play for Oakville. But Steve Portelli and Jackson Reed scored for Owen Sound, and it was 14-10 after 2, and we had ourselves a game. Come to third period, though, Ty English shorthanded scored for Oakville. Jonathan Peshko got one back for Owen Sound, but Lansbury with a pair, followed by Andrew Q, and this thing was done. Greg Elijah Brown got one for Owen Sound. Lansbury ended the game with his goal, and this thing was all said and done. It was 19-12, a final for Oakville. Really looking at Ryan Lansbury as your main guy with Andrew Q for this one. We head over into Tuesday night, and Tuesday night we had the Coburg Kodiaks over in with the Six Nations Chiefs, and Six Nations, is just an all-star team and a half. And Coburg has had a few problems, and we'll again name it tonight. But Eli McLaughlin, this was his game. He had a great game there. He opened the scoring. Aaron Woods tied it up for Coburg about halfway through the first, and then it was all Six Nations from there. Travis Longboat with a pair. Randy Stotts, Eli McLaughlin with his second of the night, and Brendan Bombury, and it was 6-1 after one. The second period was a little different. Coburg actually put together and mounted some offense. It was 5-5 in that period. David Anderson, who, by the way, is one of the Powless clan. Austin Stotts got one, followed by Justin Martin off a Kyle Rubish pass, another coming in on a breakaway. Man, that kid is fast. Man, I'll tell you. Brayden Saris, Zach Thompson, Saris again, Hendricks, and Coburg was mounting a comeback. Austin Stotts got his second and his third of the night, followed by another one from Eli McLaughlin. And this game was 11-6. Now, interestingly enough, the third period only yielded one goal. After all those fireworks, one goal. Lyle Thompson. And 12-6 was your final. Six Nations was showing you a great period of keep away and just how well they can kill clock as well as run scores up. So another great night in net for Warren Hill. Steve Orlerman had a long night. But Six Nations stays undefeated at 3-0. Coburg at this point is 1-3. And we head on over to Brooklyn. And Wednesday night, Brooklyn and Brampton faced one another. And Brooklyn, not to be outdone by the Six Nations Chiefs, I want to show you that they are also vying for a Man Cup berth. They beat Brampton soundly 13-3. And this game was close all the way to the national anthems, really. In the first period, it was already 3-0 for Brooklyn. Luke Keenan, Curtis Knight, and Brock Haley. Holden Patterson got one back for Brampton. Luke Keenan got his second of the night, which at this stage was already the game-winning goal, guys. Jeremy Searle got one back for Brampton with 28 seconds left in the first. Where things fell apart for Brampton was the second. 4-0 for Brooklyn, and three of them were power play goals. Brampton was taking all kinds of silly penalties, and Brooklyn made them pay every time they went to the box. Tanner Cook with a power play goal. Jack Travassos with a regular strength goal, but Curtis Knight and Connor Kiernan both were power play goals. We head into the third period, and to continue with this onslaught, four more goals for Brooklyn to put this thing away. Cook, Graydon Hogg, Cook again, and Curtis Knight. And J.P. Ward stopped the 8-goal run. But Graydon Hogg, again, with one last one, just for good measure, making it 13-3. Cook's one was also on the power play. They went 4 for 4 on the power play that night, guys. Every time Brampton did something, really, Brooklyn was going to make them pay. So Brooklyn is an absolute juggernaut as well. So interesting when those two finally do meet up. That's going to be the game of the week. No two ways about it. Thursday saw two games going on. You have Brampton and hosting Oakville, and you have Brooklyn heading on over to Peterborough. Now, Brampton just played the night before and got kicked. Oakville came in, and they had played on Monday night, and this one was surprisingly close. This was an 11-10 victory for Oakville. I thought this was going to be a walkaway, and I sure was shocked. Brampton got on the board first. Curtis Goddard, Ryan Lansbury tied it up. Penn Ice Drag actually gave Brampton the lead again, 2-1 on the power play. Luke Robinson got one back for Oakville to tie it up. Brampton took a 2-goal lead, J.P. Ward and Zach Sunderland. But near the end of the period, Oakville put it into another gear. Sam English and Andrew Q scored, and we were tied after 4-4. Head into the second, and Oakville looked like they were going to run away with this thing. Nathan Grennan, Andrew Q, and Marley Angus scored back-to-back-to-back. But J.P. Ward got 2 on the power play about 14 minutes into the period, and it was a 1-goal game again. Sam English got one on the power play for Oakville, but Adam Wiedemann got one with 1:21 left in the period, and it was just a 1-goal game. It was 8-7 for Oakville heading into the third. In that third period, Josh Medeiros tied it up, but again, a 3-goal run from Oakville with Grennan, Lansbury, and Grennan again. But you'd think that Brampton was done. These guys kept fighting. Holden Patterson and Penn Eistrat had goals. With 3:38 remaining, it was a one-goal game, but they just could not beat Holichuk in net. So Oakville comes away with a very scary 11-10 victory. Heading over into Peterborough that same night, and Brooklyn, again, looked to run away with this thing. They caught up to 3-0 in the first half of the first period with Tanner Cook, Keenan, and Liam Osborne unassisted. Holden Catoni got one back on the power play, but Graydon Hogg answered him. And it was 4-1 for Brooklyn after one period in a very silent Memorial Center of 3,000 people. Russell Terrence gets one, but Dylan Robinson answers him. Catoni gets another one, and Kiernan answers him. Hogarth gets one on the power play, but Connor Kiernan answers him. So again, we are sitting at a 7-4, 3-goal lead for Brooklyn heading into the third period. Third period, again, Peterborough showed some life. Turner Evans got one. Tanner Cook got one back for Brooklyn. Milligan and Catoni got a pair of goals to make this a one-goal game. But Tanner Cook goal with 4 seconds left put this thing away. 9-7 for Brooklyn in this one over Peterborough, handing them their second loss of the season. I don't think they had a couple of losses last year, did they? This is unfamiliar territory for Peterborough.
Yeah, still plenty of season left, though.
Oh, yeah.
Very true. They played again tonight, though, and they played Coburg. And Peterborough of old showed up. And it was busy in Coburg because all the Peterborough natives came down the highway over to Coburg, which was only about a 20-minute drive. So the community center over in Coburg was busy and loud. Very, very low-scoring first period. Rob Hellier and Austin Hazen got goals for Peterborough. David Anderson got one for Coburg. It was 2-1 after one. What killed Coburg was the second period. It was a 5-1 second period, again giving up power play goals. Catoni had 3 in that period alone, Holden. Colton Armstrong had an unassisted one, as well as Rob Hellier with his second of the night. Aaron Woods got one for Coburg. In the third period, all hell broke loose. It was a fisticuff Sunday night. All kinds of bad blood between these two teams. Colton Marquis got one. Gareth Hay got one for the Kodiaks. Tate Catoni ended the scoring with 1:33 left, but all kinds of fun extracurricular activities in this one. 9-3 was your final for Peterborough. Looking at the standings after this week, Brooklyn is up there 5-1. Six Nations at 3-0. Oakville 3-0. Peterborough sitting 2-2 now. 1-4 for Brampton, 1-3 for Coburg, and Owen Sound is yet to win. They're sitting at 0-5. But a busy week upcoming again. We're looking further ahead here. Monday night, Six Nations visits Oakville. This is one to circle on the calendar, guys. That should be a heck of a game.
Yeah.
Tuesday night, Brampton goes into Six Nations. So let's see what Oakville does for Six Nations that gives Brampton a chance. Wednesday night, Coburg faces the Brooklyn Lacrosse Club. Thursday night, Oakville heads into Peterborough, and Six Nations heads over to Brampton. And Saturday, we have Peterborough getting over to Owen Sound, and Oakville heads over to Coburg on Sunday. A busy, busy week in MSL action. So, Lord help us recappers, guys. Just before we head into the PLL, guys, a reminder that this part of the show is brought to you by Philly Sports Trips.
If you're a Philly sports fan and you want to travel with your favorite team, then travel with the best. If you want to travel with the pros, then go to phillysportstrips.com. Philly Sports Trips features premium travel and tailgating experiences for the best fans ever, the Philadelphia sports fan. Philly Sports Trips has self-travel packages and full travel packages available with round-trip flights for Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, Sixers, and even the Union. They even offer day trips for more local games. Go to phillysportstrips.com, sign up immediately, and tell them EOP sent you. Do not forget, Philly Sports Trips has all the away trips for the Eagles' upcoming 2024 season, including the Brazil trip week 1. Jump on it now before you lose out on all these great opportunities. Go to phillysportstrips.com and don't miss the next great Philly sports moment.
Absolutely. Just before we head into the PLL scores, just having a look at the PLL pick'ems this week, guys. And, well, thank you, Philadelphia. My only loss was the Water Dogs this afternoon in overtime. That also cost me a Bet365 ticket for about $150. Thanks, Philly. Really love you. Thank goodness I'm good at picking Euro soccer, so I can, make some money back. But I had a 3-1 week with Pat, Shawn, Muffler, Mike, and Eduardo were 2-2. Year to date, I am sitting on top at 9-3. Shawn and Pat 7-5. Mike is still 500. Way to go, Mike! Yes. Eduardo is backing us up there at 5-7. But I feel a big week coming on from Eduardo. Something just tells me. But PLL this week, guys. Our first game, of course, being that it was at in Philadelphia. We had, well, our first game was Boston, Philadelphia, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And, of course, another OT game. Philadelphia doesn't lose in regular time, They string you along. They string you along, they give you hope, and then they take it away. Cannons win 12-11 in overtime.
Yeah, obviously yet another heartbreaker for the Water Dogs. Falling to 0-2 and with a goal differential of -2. So, I think the difference in this game was just was the Cannons defense. Kind of shutting Philadelphia down in the early going, and by the time they mounted the comeback, it was almost a bit too late for Philadelphia.
It surprised me this fourth, though, because you get a bunch of high scorers, and 1-1 in the fourth. Just it just stopped. The defenses and the goaltending looked great. Kirst and Ward both were excellent in nets.
Yeah, definitely. And really the unsung hero or unlikely hero here, Zach Tucci for the Cannons. 4 points on 2 goals and a 2-point goal that really maybe that goal was you could almost consider the difference. This was scored at the end of the first half. Takes the final face-off. Gets
and a whirlwind.
Gets held up by a Water Dog defender, outside the arc, and just fires a shot. And Marcus Holman happened to be kind of crossing through between the arc and the crease, and screens Dylan Ward just enough for Tucci's shot to sneak through with probably half a second left on the clock in the half.
Yeah.
And gets Boston an extra 2 points that
came in very handy.
Yeah,
very much. So,
but he did it again in overtime, right? He
They mess around, yeah.
And 5 seconds in overtime, it was over. And this was no cheapie. He earned his way to the net and scored a beautiful goal. But he had the game of games in this one.
Yeah, 18 of 24 on faceoffs, 13 ground balls to lead all players, and we'll get to that same position for Philadelphia maybe a little later after the second game.
Yeah.
because that's going to warrant some pretty heavy discussion.
Well, it's something I didn't expect that we would have to discuss. Honestly, we were talking about Maryland and things like that, and how tough a schedule they have, but I really didn't expect the Water Dogs to be in this position. And in fact, that was part of my thinking and gambling, is I really didn't think that the Water Dogs were going to be placed or put themselves in this position, because they really, when we get to the other game, they really didn't look good most of the day today. They had moments, but didn't look that great. Let's get on to the Utah Carolina game on Saturday night, the late game. And again, surprisingly, a low-scoring affair. This is one where I would have figured there's a 1 in front of both of those numbers. I would have figured it was 19-17. But
yeah, I mean, I'd say there's probably as many people who maybe expected this because of who you have in net. Brett Dobson.
Hey, Mike, guess who we have with us?
And
there
he is.
Talking about the first overtime loss. We haven't quite gotten to the next one yet, but we're on to the Archers and Chaos at the moment.
Good. I need a brown paper bag to breathe into. Terrible. Why can't I enjoy some lacrosse in this town? Why? Is there a dark cloud that follows me around from winter to summer? I mean, why?
Tony, you're correct. Chaos did play a bit lazy. I expected a lot more jump out of them, and they disappointed me, especially in the fourth. They disappointed me immensely, because I really, when it was sitting there at 7-7 after 3, I really thought that Chaos was going to shock the world, so to speak, and really put it to the Archers, and they came up flat, flatter than a pancake.
Yeah, I mean, shut out in the fourth, and just to finish the goaltending duel conversation, Blaze Reardon back in net for Chaos. So obviously that's a
huge
for the
plus.
most part that's a huge plus for them. But Josh
both
Byrne,
goalies, Dobson and Reardon, both had great nights.
Yeah,
exactly, Tony. The Dobson was a brick wall, and just like he's been all season. But this one, he just stoned them cold. Helped the lackadaisical play a little bit too.
Yeah, and I mean, you would have expected part of that Chaos run to come from Jules Henningberg, who had a huge homecoming weekend for Chaos last week in Charlotte. He ended up with just an assist on the day. And even worse, Ty Kurtz, Kyle Jackson, Ross Scott all held scoreless in this game. So, Josh Byrne finished with 2 goals and an assist. Eric Dobson scored the first 2 goals of his professional career. Recent draft pick of Chaos. For Archers, pretty balanced scoring. Tom Schreiber, 2 goals, 2 assists. Mac O'Keefe and Ryan Ambler, each with 2 and 1. Grant Ament, 2 goals on the night. And Connor Fields had a goal.
Yep. Alrighty, so that covers our Friday. Moving into our Saturday. Moving into Sunday. Really, Atlas. What can we say? Up behind my head. But
we're going to call this show Gary's homecoming weekend.
Yeah,
I'm just living the dream, man. There's a lot of tear stains here on the desk.
Between Victoria and the Archers, I mean, the guys living. Sorry.
The first half of this game lived up to its billing. Just an exciting, high-speed half, and the Redwoods got up 5-1 in the first, but a 6-goal run by Atlas had them up 7-5 in the second. End-to-end action continued. Both goalies coming up huge. Also starting transition chances both ways. At the half, we were tied 8-8. Atlas started the second half much more aggressive. They were rewarded with more chances and more goals. A 6-2 third quarter changed the entire complexion of this game. Fourth quarter was more of the same. Teat and Schellenberger leading the way for Atlas. Atlas comes away with a 20-15 win. But I'm telling you, when you're going to throwing, a lineup that has Teat, Xander Dixon, Dox Aiken, Connor Schellenberg, Miles Jones, Dylan Malloy, one that wasn't even in there, Reed Bowering. You're, wow. And Troutner, wow. Looked like they were gunning for him at the end of the game, though. I think it's got a little ugly over there.
Yeah, a little bit. And
I love the way Troutner just stepped out of the way. Because but a bright spark for the California team, of course, Garnsey. He looked great today, and he was just on all cylinders.
and they need him to be. They need him to pretty much be anchoring that left side,
right?
So and helping mentor guys like Garrett Gagnon.
But Kurt's going into the goal. Come on, a little better than that. And if you don't expect a reaction, like they said in the announcing, I thought that was a very, very restrained reaction from Atlas. And even though,
very much,
yeah.
even though I thought
could really have.
And then Pennell throwing Troutner to the ground is like, really? Come on, guys. The game's over. It's 20-15, even with that goal, which Troutner was smart enough to step away going, take it.
Yep.
If it was 15-14, I doubt you'd see that. But still, we're better than that. We're trying to show off the best lacrosse in the world, field-wise, and stuff like that we can do without. Simple. But, Jeff Teat doing Jeff Teat-ish things. 4 goals, 4 assists. Stalwart in this.
I mean, what can you say when you hear that he's about on pace to break the single season scoring record before the All-Star game?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
insane.
I'm ridiculous.
I mean, how do you even put that into words?
Yeah.
What he's about to
But even when he's not
this year.
scoring or assisting, he draws so much attention just him being there that you have somebody open somewhere.
Right.
Schellenberger, 4 goals, 3 assists. You can't key on Teat because Schellenberger will get you. You can't key on them because Miles Jones, he had a goal, a 2-point goal, and a couple of assists. He's got a howitzer, and he's come back to life. Talk about resurgence. The trade was the fountain of youth for him, and he looks great again. Xander Dixon, if you just key on these guys, he's coming out with 3 goals. Well, Dox Aiken, don't be keying on those 4 guys because he's coming out with a pair of goals. Never mind Kostiuk, who had no goals but a couple of assists, and he's got a howitzer shot too. Comicio, just a nice little extra thing. He had a goal. Danny Logan, he had a goal. Razanka had a goal. Dylan Malloy had a goal. It just goes on and on. It's just such a balanced attack that you can't key on the big guys because the other guys are going to kill you too. And Trevor Baptiste didn't have a great day at the face-off thing. In fact, T.D. Erlin took him to school today. However, I don't think Baptiste was the same after he took that knee to the head. From that point on, I don't think he won a face-off. So he kind of just backed away, shied away. Didn't need it. Team was getting, caused turnovers all over the place. So, interestingly enough, Erlin went 24 for 34 in the face-off spot. He was really the bright spot for California. Baptiste, 12 of 29. When's the last time we said that?
Yeah.
But 20-15 for Atlas. So, again, even when one aspect of your game isn't working, can you imagine what this game would have been if Baptiste was 30 of 34 and he had many extra touches? And again, a slow start, down 5-1, and then they started picking it up. 8-8 at the 8 at the half, and already you could see it coming towards the end of that first half that they were loosey goosey. They never seemed too concerned.
Yeah.
they know they can put up a lot of points.
That was the one thing I was going to say is actually the Redwoods put up quite a bit with 15. You're just wondering, if they could have locked down a little bit more. Unfortunately, like you said, that stacked offense that Atlas has.
They
15
bring up
probably
a
any
good
other
point.
night. 15 any other night might have actually picked them up a win.
But they bring up a good point on the broadcast as well, and that was that a lot of these things happen when there's already a huge lead.
Yeah.
And teams are gunning for 2-point goals, and instead of getting singles, they're getting 2 points here and there. And you're not as focused if you're up by 12, and if they only win by 7, whatever. So, they were up by 6, and the last one went in. You're not going to get Troutner going to stand in the way of that.
That's true. Yeah.
So, a few of those, and all of a sudden things are a whole lot different. So, but Atlas is sitting at 4-0 now, looking really, really good. And Pat, that brings us to our last game of the day that cost me $150.
And Pat, a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
He put away his brown paper bag though, so I don't know if he's breathing in.
I don't know if I need to breathe into. I don't know if I need a brown paper bag over my head. I don't know. I don't know why I can't enjoy lacrosse here in this town. I've been suffering from this dark cloud has been following me since the winter. The Wings have left me into this pit of misery. Listen. I will say the War Dogs have been given some huh?
The way they did it in this game, they're ahead up until a minute left, and then they give up a defensive breakdown that puts a goal in past Ward that sends it to overtime with basically no time left, and then again they get a great opportunity, and oh my God, what a save!
That was a nice save, yeah.
What a save! And then,
wow. That's the way. That's it's always miserable in Philly. Okay, there, Nick. It's always miserable in Philly. But and Gary, you bring up an interesting point because like when I saw this team play today, and again, I love the work that they do down low. And I love the way that they can score. I love the way Michael Sowers can take the ball whenever he wants and make a good play out of it. He's recorded 6 goals all weekend. Great, fun stuff. I mean, 6 goals, 5 assists. A combination between yesterday and today with that guy. Great. He's a playmaker. I got all that. But what else do we have? I mean, because like I said, you look strong on offense, but your defense – it must be a lacrosse thing here in Philly because that defense was leaving, especially today. And I get it. You're fatigued. You're tired. But you were leaving some holes wide open for Maryland to do whatever they wanted to today. I mean, they had plenty of some spacing on the floor. You saw guys like Matt Dunn shooting from the perimeter. Their perimeter defense today was horrible for the War Dogs. I mean, just absolutely garbage. Again, listen, for you to take 2 games in the overtime, that's great, but you still haven't come up with a finish. You still have yet to walk out of here with a W. This was supposed to be like a homecoming for you in your own backyard, and we came out with zilch. I mean, this is not a good sign. And listen, I love Bill Tierney. Great. I know all about his NCAA, coaching and all that stuff, but it's a little too pass happy for me on offense too. I mean, there's plays I see just too pass up. I mean, because there was a play yesterday, a couple plays where they were getting good turnovers on Boston, but they didn't come up with a finish. The commentator said on himself, he said they were giving you a gift multiple times, and we didn't come up with the execution. It was bad. It's a lot of questions to be answered. Listen, it's 0-3. There's still plenty of lacrosse to be played, but it needs to be fixed now. You had a week off. There's really no excuses. You had a week off, kind of trying to make your right adjustments, and now you took 2 L's back to back at home. There's no rhyme, no reason. You have to get this fixed now. So, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do from here moving forward, especially on that defensive side. I mean, that defense, again, just looks sloppy. And like you said, you're up. You had Maryland on the ropes today. You had the Whisk Snakes on the ropes. And what happened? Just like that, you coughed it up. Blink of an eye. that fast. It's remarkable how bad it's gotten here. So, am I pushing the panic button? Yeah. I'm notorious for pushing that panic
actually,
button.
I want to comment on it because I did kind of bust your stones on your show this morning.
Yes.
When you were blowing up about the Phillies, losing 3 in a row.
And look what I have to sit next to, Mike. I have to sit. You're an intelligent Mike. I have to sit next to a dopey Mike. The IQs and Mikes are two different things here.
Honestly, the point I wanted to make is this time it's definitely legit the way you feel about it, because losing 3 games in a row in a 162 game season is a whole different animal than losing 3 games in a row to start the season. Start the season and it's only a 10-game season. So the only saving grace with that is I believe the playoff structure is still the same this year.
It is.
So as long as they don't end up in last place, they're in the playoffs. But certainly.
Well, listen, they're
beating Maryland.
They're trending.
Leaving them, at 0-3 would have been a help, especially since California's 0-2 right now. But they do, and I think that for me the problem stems more with these 2 losses this weekend, stems from them not having a face-off guy.
Good point.
And look, I mean, that's not to say that they just they had a game plan going into this particular game with Maryland, knowing that they were going up against Joe Nardella, one of the best in the business, that they were, hey, look, we're just going to give it up and we're going to, either try to attack, cause turnovers, whatever. But, credit to Matt Witcher almost winning that draw in overtime. That could have been, that could have been a different, and
They had a chance though.
Yeah. And folks aren't going to think about that because Maryland got a possession.
I was going to say that was more Krebs, I think.
They got stopped by a brilliant save on the doorstep, and then Maryland came away with the winner. But the complexion of overtime could have changed if Witcher wins that draw, which he nearly did, chasing that ball down. And then suddenly it's Water Dogs have the possession and Whipsnakes never get a chance in overtime.
Right.
Close the game.
Yeah, and like I said, I've watched. Like I said, it was a close game, overtime, and all that stuff. But look, it's been exciting. But this is, I thought they were at least going to split it. At least they're going to take one. I thought they were going to win on Friday, and then maybe lose. I figured the fatigue game was going to play a big major role in today's game, and I saw that today in defense. Their defense was just not there today for Ward, and you saw what happened. But other than that, I mean, like I said, they're still a decent team. They're still taking teams down, but they just got to come up with a finish. And again, this is time for Bill Tierney's. I have to realize what he has in his tool shed, and he's got to try and do the best he can. I mean, you got to come up with a finish, point blank. You got to come up with a playmaker is going to get you there. Michael Sowers, like I said, you got a real solid offense. Michael Sowers, Kieran McArdle, you have him. You have Zach Currier, who showed up today. I mean, you got plenty of guys on offense who could get the job done for you. It's just you have to draw something up or come up with something creative for them to do that. And your defense needs to be there as well because, like I said, mass confusion. The perimeter defense looks like it's not there. The wing defense is not there. I mean, the Whipsnakes, the Cannons. I mean, scoring transition, finding open holes, and unloading. Listen, guy, there's not one guy on the Cannons. I don't think has more than 2 goals on that team yesterday. But they spread the ball around. They made good ball movement. They're picking their shots, picking their poison, if you will, and they did a great job. And and listen, the Kavanaugh brothers, they know how to win here in Philly. So this is Philly's just as much as their playground it is to the Water Dogs. I mean, especially the Pat Kavanaugh. This is his playground. winning 2 NCAA championships back to back here. He knows what he's doing here. So,
Doesn't
but
get easier, right? The Water Dogs have Chaos next week, and now with Reardon back in net, could be a very, very tough day for them to get some offense too.
Could be.
And how about we got to see a little bit of Rambo today?
Rambo with the winner.
Rambo killed you.
Yeah, Rambo killed you.
Smart thing to do. Get out of the Philly jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I mean, obviously, the losses are the losses, and they're currently last place when you look at the big picture, 0-3. But if there's anything that is going in their favor, that goal differential. They're 0-3, but that goal differential is -3. That's as good as you can get for a team that's 0-3. and that goal differential can come into play later in the year, when you're talking about, if you want to look at worst case scenario, you want to look at, hey, are they making the playoffs as the 7th seed, or are they looking on the outside as the last place team? That goal differential, if they can keep that as close to 0 as possible, or get back on the positive side, that's going to make a difference versus some of these other teams.
It's going
to. California's already, I can't remember the score of their first loss, but they lost by 5 today. So that goal differential is worse than Philadelphia's is right now. So.
But Mike, I totally agree with you. I think your weak gray area starts at the face-off circle. You need somebody there, whether they try to tell you that we got somebody. No, they don't. It's plain as day that you need a face-off guy, and then you got to work on your defense, and you got to work on coming up with great perimeter defense. It starts from there. I mean, like I said, your offense is there for you, but I mean, your offense can only carry for so long before they get burnt. So, I mean, you need a strong defense at some point. You need Ward to step up. You need everybody on that side of the ball to step up and stay strong over there. Play man-to-man zone tough if you have to. I mean, tell you, they just look like they just had tired legs out there. I mean, they look like they were cooked. I mean, just like I said, so the Whip Snakes today, just plenty of scoring opportunities, scoring in transition, whatever they wanted to. I mean, plenty of floor space for those guys. And we weren't able to capitalize on it. We weren't just walk around like zombies out there. It's not exactly what I wanted out there, but listen, you're 0-3 at the end of the day. You need to fix it. Bill Turner, you need to go back to the whiteboard. Get right to
it. Is there any other team in the PLO right now that is doing face-off by committee? I mean, not Maryland, not New York, not Utah.
And a great point,
not Carolina.
And a great point by Pat. If you're not going to win those face-offs, you need a solid defense. No doubt, or it's going to be a long, long night.
It's a long day.
Like, that has to be your number one if you're not going to have a face-off guy, is that shut them down brick wall defense.
Right. Now, again, you play Boston again in 2 weeks. And
yes.
Again, not an easy one, but a winnable one.
It'll be 3.
3 weeks?
Yeah, PLO.
28, that's right.
PLO is
my week, yeah.
Week, so.
Yeah, the 21st, 22nd there's no game.
Hey, we get a break from writing next week. Small break, but.
They can't lose this weekend.
Can't lose.
True.
Not me. I have about 42 of them to write. But, yeah. And, looking at that 2 weeks' time, we get Atlas against Maryland. So it was a big win for Maryland. They had to do this. Otherwise, they'd be in that position too. And they have a tougher schedule, believe it or not. Because after Atlas, Maryland plays Utah, the Archers, the week after that. So, it doesn't get any easier for them either. The Archers play Boston next week, or 2 weeks from now, sorry. California is playing Denver. It doesn't get easier for them. They're 0-2 right now. And, of course, we talked about the Water Dogs and Chaos. So we're starting to see the haves and the have-nots. It's starting to become a divide in this league. Because we have a couple of teams sitting up top. And then we have, the Water Dogs are 0-3, the Redwoods are 0-2. Denver is 1-1. Chaos is 2-2. And the Archers are 2-1, sitting on top of that division in the West. where it gets to a little differential is the Atlas are 4-0. That first week where they were able to pull it 2 wins is big. Because now, even if they do have a slip, they have a cushion. Because Boston is at 2-1, Maryland 1-2, and Philadelphia 0-3. So, again, it's going to be interesting down the stretch. But again, we're 3 of 10. We're early in the season, but of 10, that's not a long time.
Yeah.
No.
We're a third away through.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly where you don't want to be coming up on the All-Star break is that you're 0-3. You could possibly, by then, you can be 0-4, 0-5. That's something you don't. It kind of, like you just said, Gary. It kind of shows you who the contenders are and who the pretenders are, as far as the PLL is concerned. You can tell who the heavyweights are and who's not. So, it's a shame. I hope they could
just get in.
Yeah,
one and done.
You just got to get in the back door. I mean, listen, there was that one time I got into prom and look, I was prom king. You know what I'm saying? Look, and listen to what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, but anyway, like I said, you just got to. But like I said, if this team could get through, now it sounds like it's a tall order, though. It just sounds like it's a tall order for this team to just get a W. So, like I said, it's just going to be interesting coming down the stretch to see what this team can do. But like you said, there's other
W, not concentrate on 3 W's.
Yeah, one game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're kind of right now. You're kind of. I mean, you're out there with some. Like you mentioned, there's some other bottom dwellers around here, so that kind of benefits the Water Dog. But like you say, you got to handle the business that's in front of you, and you have to start picking up these W's. You have to come up with the finish. The defense has got to get stronger. Face-off play, the face-off, it's got to work. In like Shawn just said, if this face-off's not going to be there, that defense needs to step up at 100. So. And so forth. So, listen, Bill Turner's got a lot of work to do. He's kind of, I guess, still feeling out this team as it is as a whole, him getting back into coaching and all that fun stuff. So, I think now 3 weeks under his belt, he's kind of understanding what he has and what what's his strengths and weaknesses are as far as this team's concerned. And he's got to try and figure out how to turn this ship around.
Right. Why don't we leave it there for this week, guys? Just before we wrap up, thank you very much, Pat.
Anytime, guys. And by the way, happy Father's Day to all you guys out there, and to everyone checking into the program. Happy Father's Day. All right, guys. See you.
We will see you. And just a reminder, this part of the show is brought to you by Cherry Injury Law.
If you get hurt at work, in a motor vehicle accident, personal injury, or affected by criminal law, you call David R. Cherry of the Cherry Firm. Cherry Law Firm is here to fight for you and get what you deserve. Cherry Injury Law is a dedicated, well-established personal injury law firm built on the promise of aiding the seriously injured throughout the state of Pennsylvania. If you have been seriously injured in the state of PA by the negligence of another, and if you have questions for a Westchester or media personal injury attorney, please don't hesitate to call. Call 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com. Let David R. Cherry fight for your right. And again, that number is 610-565-0300 or go to cherryinjurylaw.com.
Yes, sir. Just a reminder that it is still Indigenous Month here in Canada. I have my Haudenosaunee National shirt on. But every day there is a new little article, a little video clip or a magazine article of something that has to do with Native life and lacrosse and the combination of it, and trying to bridge the gap of understanding between non-Native and Native, and trying to push things forward in our little part of the world. Please give it a look at every day. First thing in the morning, it is up and should be there for your viewing pleasure. Lots of interesting stuff. Today was an article on a little video on Alfie Jacks and his stick making abilities. So there's a number of other ones coming up. We're only halfway through the month, so there's another 14 of them to come. So stick with us and be all kinds of things. A reminder that we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on Thread, we are on YouTube. And again, remember YouTube, we have retro games. We have our library of shows. We have interviews. We have press conferences. Anything you really need to get a real gist of what's going on in the lacrosse world. Please check back on our Facebook page 3, 4, 5 times a day because the news is always changing and we have our fingers on the pulse of the situation and we are up to date with everything and anything. We have a lot of recaps up from the past week of games. If there's any games in particular you want to see how it turned out and why it turned out that way, everything is up there. We have a lot of other things coming on. We have a lot of other articles that are up as well. So please give it a look. And, we can give you all the information we can possibly do. It's our privilege and our pleasure to do it for you. Guys, we're into our last words of the week. Shawn, I'll start with you this week.
Yeah, just looking forward to another great week, especially with the WLA. Maybe Victoria might lose the game. We don't have to hear from Gary anymore.
Okay, I see where this is going. I see where this is going.
No, I mean, they're a powerhouse. There's no doubt about it. So, no, it'll be an exciting week.
Absolutely. And Mike, how are you tearing me apart?
No, I mean, there's no, just piggybacking off that. I mean, obviously, there's a clear divide. WLA right now. I mean, you've got Victoria and New West close behind, and then there's definitely a drop off.
Yeah.
Don't make me pull out my Victoria Shamrock trading cards, okay? Telling you now.
I mean, for me right now, I like the fact that I'm seeing teams like Coquitlam, Maple Ridge, Burnaby, fighting for those third and fourth spots right now. And hopefully Nanaimo can kind of turn things around. I mean, I think we're all in agreement that Langley is just they're going to have a down year and with visible reason why.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I just want to piggyback on that. You make a great point. It's great to see, especially Maple Ridge and Burnaby, who had struggled pretty much perennially
for a while. Yeah,
for a while now, really competing now. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to MSL this week. There are a lot of really great games coming up. Again, down the road a little bit when Brooklyn and Six Nations meet, that's going to be the game of the week for everything.
Definitely.
Because they're both just tearing it up left, right, and center. They both have all-star lineups. You got to give it to Gavin Prout for what he was able to put together, especially watching Six Nations build up and build up and build up. I've watched Peterborough start to try and build up. Oakville's trying to build up. But what Gavin Prout's got out there in Brooklyn is just an absolutely insane team. And they're not winning by a little. They are making a statement every single game they're playing. And this is going to be a very interesting summer. And very worth the mileage that I'm putting on my car because I am enjoying everything that I'm going to see. So, Six Nations have been fun. Brooklyn's been fun. Oakville's been fun. Brampton has been fun. So I'm really looking forward to it. One of these Sundays, it'll be a Coburg meat locker Sunday. I imagine with the amount of people that they want to have in Peterborough, they might even been warm in there. But melted the ice in the other pad. But I tell you, it's going to be a lot of fun. And MSL this week is going to be fun too because there's an awful lot of opportunity for teams to start jockeying each other. And this should be exciting. And with 7 teams in there, it's great to have this kind of competition again. After the last couple of years of 4 and 5 teams in there and really haven't been much to see in the way of competition. But there's a lot of it going on now, and it's just really, really great lacrosse. So if you're anywhere in the Ontario region, try and get out to these games. They're inexpensive. They are NLL players. So you're much more accessible and much easier to see and get at and enjoy. So,
sorry, Gary, before we go off the air here, quick update from the WLA. The game right now, 4-2, Langley in the first period.
There we go.
All right. Hey.
So we see that Langley. I watch Ennismore get a point this week. I watch them get a point. But hey, can Langley do it?
Yeah,
see us next Sunday. We'll tell you.
Yeah.
Check out our article tomorrow. It'll be up there, the recap of the entire game. So we will have it for you on our Facebook page as well as on Instagram. So check it out. We will have that for you up to the moment, up to date.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll add, obviously there's no PLL next week, a week off, but I still think there's questions, top to bottom, even with Atlas, it's going to be, hey, can they keep this up, and then, conversely at the bottom, what can Redwoods do to turn around? Can they keep up the level of scoring we saw against Atlas today, from a team that's, typically been kind of one of the lower scoring teams in the league? And for Philly, you know, face off guy and what are they going to do with the defense? And can they find a way? Can they find a way to win a close one? To start.
Do you think they can talk Max Adler out of retirement?
That would be something, but even if they can't, there's got to be someone in the player pool right now who's capable of.
Do they could reach out to somebody at MSL or WLA and see if they can sway them with benefits and pay?
That too.
Yeah.
Can they imagine if they could sway Withers out of Peterborough if it doesn't look like they're going to be making it towards a run for the Mann Cup? All these things.
Withers on that Philly team could be. Whoa.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
So, all is not lost by any stretch of the imagination. Well, Manny, there's an idea.
That's
another one. Yeah. Alrighty, just want to wish everybody once again, hey, happy Father's Day from all of us here at All Lacrosse. And we hope that you had a great day, all the dads out there. Love that picture. Anyways, until next week, for Shawn Slaght in Moose Jaw, for Muffler Mike in Connecticut, I'm Gary Groob in Toronto, wishing you the best of weeks. Remember, keep your stick in your hand. Always check back because we have all the information up to date for you. So until then, we will see you next week. Have a great week, everybody.